Hello, wrestling fans, and thank you for joining us once again as we are reliving the extreme. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And Mr. Chad Austin is also with us.
Hello.
And Chad is accommodating us at friggin' 11 o'clock at night to record this show this week. So I'm sure all of us are going to be enjoying a frosty adult beverage as we do the show. So enjoy, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to thank you for joining us. On this week's episode, we are reviewing the episode of ECW from June 22nd, 1993, kind of the fallout from the Super Summer Sizzler Spectacular, although I suspect that this show was recorded before the Super Summer Sizzler Spectacular. Just a little suspect there.
I don't know, maybe 3/4 of it. I don't know.
But anything you guys want to say before we get into this garden here?
Yeah.
Find some tomatoes.
Well, I mean, let's be hopeful. It is at the ECW Arena.
Yes, it is at the ECW Arena, and there are garbage cans involved. So there we go.
For no reason.
We start for no reason. We start off the show with the Sports Channel sign on. Even on the network, they had that on there. And nice little intro commercial for from Paulie Dangerously about the upcoming show. Little TV spot. Paulie's presence is becoming more and more evident on the show as the weeks go on.
Didn't that Paulie spot look more and more like what Jason's going to become?
Yeah.
That to me was like, when I saw that, I was like, what is Paul doing? Like, is he auditioning?
My wife was actually, for the first time ever, she was actually on the couch with me when I was watching this episode. And she looks up and she goes, "Is that Paul Heyman?" And I said, yes. And she said, "Wow, he's so much younger and not fat." All right. Good observation, honey. Good observation. So much younger and not fat.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not a whole lot you can say about how much another 10 years and X amount of millions of dollars in a debt you are. Can put weight on a person.
A little bit of stress weight.
I mean, like you know the old expression, "You're robbing Peter to pay Paul."
Yeah.
Well, who the fuck is Paul? Is Paul robbed? You know what I mean? Like, he's running out of guys that have money. That's what's going on here. But it's not Paul. It's Gilbert, and it's Todd. Because we all can see what Eddie Gilbert has as a vision. Just going upon what we have next coming up on some of the matches and some of the show, but. And Todd's like, I don't know if I had that kind of money,
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it looks to me. Like, my God, they are looking to build something here, and Todd's is going, I'm not sure. I'm not selling enough fucking gold rings.
Robbing Todd to pay Paul. Yeah.
Right. Exactly, man.
So we started off the show with pretty much just almost most of what they showed last week for the Hawk Jimmy Snuka match with the fireball kibosh at the end.
The ECW recaps are way too long. They just need a video or something would have been a lot better than just showing the whole fucking match.
Aaron, I agree. I think if they would have just recapped and made a package of it, I mean, even throw Jay Sully's voice over top of it, it wouldn't have been less harder to watch than it was, because you're watching and just going, because Hawk's he's not working a main event match, like at a big arena.
Right.
It's an indie match. And Snuka's he's doing the same. So I even wrote they just killed 10 minutes. Yeah, and in my estimation, it's probably more like 12:30, 12:45 based upon the timestamp, but you know what I mean? Like, they just killed time because they just didn't have much to put in there.
Mm-hmm. showing us a match we've already seen that wasn't that good the first time around. So now we got Jay Sully and Paulie doing the intro. Paulie hyping up Eddie Gilbert as the king, and
apparently Stevie Wonderful is busy washing Eddie Gilbert's car.
Yes.
See, like I told you, man, you're going to start seeing these guys on their way out.
Yeah, they're going to cut the dead weight, hopefully, and then, well, we know they are. They're going to cut the dead weight and start moving in a more positive direction. But Stevie still comes out here to confront Paulie.
Yeah, and they hug and waddle off. Weird.
That's a classic forks to the left, knives in the back.
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, Balls is going, but dude, you have no idea. Like, your days are numbered. But I mean, the whole entire time I'm not sorry. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, I was just going to move on to the next thing, but go ahead, say what you're going to say.
Oh, I was going to say I couldn't wait to see the Koloffs. That was the highlight of the whole entire show. What Ivan not telling the world that he has a new nephew, one that he probably didn't even know that he had, just came along out of nowhere.
This guy has
this Harry Jack motherfucker came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and now he's going to be the next Nikita Koloff. I mean, come on. I put a couple of exclamation points next to that, going, why? Why was this on there?
I mean, even if you're going to use Ivan, just bring him in as this. Why put him with a?
Another funny thing during the segment, like to open the show, Sully says that the Dark Patriot's going to debut tonight. He's been on 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Well, what wasn't that because of videos?
Well, no, he had a match. He wrestled Terry Funk last week.
Well, Jay Sully's an idiot. Well, maybe that's why he needs to go. I don't know. I didn't have that down as a note, but maybe you're right. Maybe that's why he's an idiot.
He's not long for this world. And then, like Chad said, we had the Koloffs next. Ivan with new mystery nephew Vladimir Koloff.
That guy fucking sucked.
I don't know the story on that guy, really.
He just sucked. He's probably Ivan's driver.
He just kind of stood there during the promo, just being there. And like Aaron said, being there and being hairy.
Yeah, if I had to guess, honestly, I don't know, Vladimir. I've been to Walmart's, honestly. This is no joke. I have been to Walmart's where he has been in there, and he had his little table set up. And I walked in, and I was like, oh, Vladimir Koloff. And I just looked at him, and I was like, oh, my God. And I got my shampoo and my body wash. And I was like, my God, he was in ECW? But yeah, he was the guy that probably Ivan trained,
Mm-hmm.
or if he didn't train him, maybe Jimmy Valiant did. And Ivan could do more for him than Jimmy Valiant could do as far as getting them bookings. But I mean, what was the sense of putting that promo on?
None.
Like they didn't come back.
It served no purpose whatsoever.
No, it was just to kill time. And that's what goes back to me with the whole entire Muraco other match, Hawk match. They were just killing time because they had nothing to fill.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm almost pretty sure, I guess, just because of the video at the beginning of the show, the intro video, some of the earlier shows that were before the TV show started, I'm assuming Ivan was on some of those because he's in the opening video.
Yeah.
So maybe he has some sort of a connection there, but I don't know that we ever see him on the TV show. I mean, I guess we'll find out in the weeks to come, but.
Well, no, we won't, because I'm telling you, my ass is about to come in, and I remember seeing Ivan Koloff in the locker room. So I don't think he was there. The only thing I can think of was that background they used for that drop.
Mm-hmm.
That was an old generic background they used back when ECW was barely even a company. So
maybe that
yeah,
promo
I'm thinking that was old file footage.
Old ass random promo and be like, fuck it.
It's
Put it in there.
It's June of '93. This promo's from October of '92 or something.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. Because because probably at this point, God, man, it's pretty early to say, but I can already tell Paulie has his, teeth.
Mm-hmm.
He's already thinking about it. So, and it's looking like, how can we just put as many big names?
Yeah, just to get.
That's why you still see Nikolai Volkov when the goddamn fucking open.
Just to get somebody hooked to maybe watch the rest of the product. The next match isn't going to do that, though. It's Muraco and Cairo. It was supposed to be, as they announced at the beginning of the show, it was going to be Don Muraco and Road Warrior Hawk for the ECW Championship. And now we have Don Muraco and Tommy Cairo for the ECW Championship.
Oh, good Lord. I think I'm not even sure. I'm not even looking at my notes right now. I'm just walking back inside, and I think I even wrote "Good Lord." Yeah, I wrote "God" right next to it. and the only thing that I got out of this match, again, how many times? It's got to be 6 weeks in a row that I said I felt bad for Tommy Cairo.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really think Tommy Cairo is better than he's been presented.
And
but
I agree with that.
Muraco was not going to do anything for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's evident. That's evident just by the way that Muraco in the match, if you watch him, the way he takes the backdrops and the way, everything is so awkward because he's not cooperating.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the match, like they introduce him as the champion, and he goes to take his shirt off, and to take his shirt off, he just throws the fucking belt on the ground like it's trash. Like he just slams it on the mat and takes his shirt off.
It's funny you mentioned the backdrop because I said I just went like that backdrop.
Yeah, it was awful.
What about that fucking terrible like drop down cross body block fucking spot they do right at the beginning? It's fucking terrible.
He almost didn't even go for a body slam during Cairo's comeback. I mean, like literally, I was cringing because when I saw Muraco feet up, like for the comeback, and I saw he was going for a body slam, and he almost didn't even like feet up for it, like he almost sandbagged him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my god, he won't even do that.
But yeah, I'm totally in agreement. I felt bad for Cairo watching this entire match. Like this poor guy. You get to work with somebody who was probably, one of his, he was probably a fan. Like, I get to work with Don Muraco. Well, good luck, buddy.
Oh yeah, there was also a fantastic roll up. The finish. Did you remember that?
Yeah. That's in my notes. It says Don Muraco wins with a very sloppy fucking roll up.
Oh, that was sloppy? I thought it was a new finish. I thought I was going to see it on AEW this week.
I Googled Vladimir Koloff because I wanted to see if anything came up on him. And there's only one story. The first story that popped up is ex-pro wrestler Vladimir Koloff turns his attention from the ring to chickens. Apparently the guy became a chicken farmer.
Well, now he's warning the Briscoes.
Chickens and Walmarts, baby. That's enough revenue.
He's a chicken farmer now.
Well, dude, in this stage of the game, fuck it, why wouldn't it be? I mean, Walmarts are essential business. They're open, and then you got to have chickens.
You got to have chickens.
Yeah, the Briscoes are living large right now.
So, anything else on this Muraco debacle?
It's terrible.
No, I'm starting to think like whoever like because there was no such thing as an agent back then, you know,
Right.
in them days, there was nobody to tell anybody, like, this is what we're doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think I said it on the show before, like, this is what our goal is. So anybody who was involved could do anything better to make the angle better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there wasn't nobody, it's like, Muraco didn't do anything.
No, he didn't. He just, I mean, other than collecting a paycheck, he didn't do anything.
Dude, if he even took that bump over the top rope when he clotheslined him and he tried to, like, catch himself in the top rope and almost go over. Like, I think he tried to go over the top rope for a second and then realized, I didn't do it the first time and I ain't trying it again. Like, it ain't happening. And I was just like, all right, well, fuck, he ain't going over the top rope.
How cumbersome of him. So, the next thing we have on the show is there is a promo with Paulie Dangerously and the Dark Patriot. And at this time, it was an obscure reference, but it comes off as an obscure reference. Now, Paulie is quoting the Green Jelly song. Yes. He's working the Green Jelly angle here.
What's the Green Jelly? What is that?
The Three Little Pigs. It was a video.
Yeah,
it was like a song. Paulie's trying to.
They were originally called Green Jello, and then Jello sued them, so they changed their name to Green Jelly. And their only song that I of note was a song about the Three Little Pigs, and that's what I think Paulie was referencing in this.
Oh, he was. He was trying to incorporate something that was current into the product, and it didn't work.
Not Ivan Koloff.
It didn't.
I mean, it definitely hooked me. I mean, I have no idea. I wrote Dark Patriot promo. Okay. Huff and Puff. And that's exactly what I wrote. I have no idea what was going on there. And I'm thinking, like, now I'm starting to, I mean, we'll get into it as the show goes on, but now I'm starting to see, and you guys will too, the more we start building to the show, what's really going on here. And yeah, when I was like, what the fuck is this? The Huff and Puff thing.
So I have a question. I have a question for you, Chad. Do you ever remember Rick Martel working for ECW? Any shows that they ever did?
Yeah, he worked for oh my God,
Goodheart?
No, it was an ECW show.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Atlantic City.
Okay, yeah, because the only reason I asked was because when Paulie started listing off, legends or whatever that the Dark Patriot was going to face or what have you, he said Rick Martel, and I just never recalled Rick Martel working for ECW. Oh, no. And I didn't know if he was just throwing names around to drop names or whatever, or if it was actually there was actually something connected to that.
No, hang on. I'm sorry. Are you saying that are you talking about 1993?
Yeah, when Paulie was cutting this promo, he talked about
no.
Dick Murdoch and blah blah blah. He was just going through all these legends or whatever, and he brought up Rick Martel's name, and I was like, it's weird that he'd bring up that name because I don't ever remember Martel being even associated with ECW, even in the early days.
Rick Martel would have been brought up only because of Dark Patriot, but its ties to Global.
Okay.
I think that's what Paulie was doing. I don't think Paulie was saying he's going to fight him. I think he was just listing out people that he was claiming the Dark Patriot had beaten. Is what he was doing.
I guess
this promo was all over the fucking place.
I guess I missed the point, or there was no point. I don't know.
Yeah, what a resume though. Of all the guys I'm going to go upstairs and try to make a resume about, I'm going to throw Rick Martel's name out there. You know what the thing is? I still owe you, Moondog Spot. How dare you treat me that way? What the fuck? Why Rick Martel? No, yeah, Rick Martel was probably somebody that Doug worked in the past.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he just throw it out there. I'm guessing. I don't know. What the fuck?
And with that leads us to Dark Patriot versus JT Smith. And I know, Chad, you said you had some some good notes on this match.
Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic match for JT.
Mm-hmm.
And the best is I could probably take my notes outside and not even look at them and still tell you what I thought about it. But I'm not. Yeah, I thought it was a great match for JT. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right.
You can see that JT was somebody that Eddie and Paul liked.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can see that. Because they wouldn't have put him in there with Doug to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to put him in there with Super Destroyer number 2. And it was a great learning lesson for JT. Like how to work the Memphis style. Because if you know JT's kind of like reckless.
Right.
And he kind of jumped, And Doug is an old school Memphis guy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Doug is an old school Memphis guy, and he likes to slow everything down. So he got to tell JT how to slow the match down. And it's funny because the match was sloppy. JT's offense was sloppy, but the match made sense.
Right.
That's why that I thought it was JT's best match. And that's probably because of Doug.
Definitely, yeah.
Your opinion?
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually have on my note here, JT is less frenetic in this match. It doesn't seem like he's kind of just, I'm not saying improvising, that's not the right word, but he's not just, off the cuff, just.
Yeah, he's not herky jerky.
Right. Yes, exactly. That's a good expression.
Yeah, it's a wrestling thing. Like he's not rushing to the top rope because he knows he has to do a moonsault.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, now Doug's saying like, stay down. Sell, yeah. So that tells me that somebody in the office had bigger plans for JT, than a bunch of the rest of the guys.
Right. And they're obviously at this point probably I'm assuming because Eddie's the booker, they obviously at this point have plans for the Dark Patriot. They're kind of changing the character from what it was in GWF. He's supposed to be kind of like a reckless or a not necessarily Mick Foley, but I don't care about my body or your body type of character. Trying to give him kind of a more I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but
maniacal.
Yeah, maniacal gimmick. And there's obviously plans there for that, and they're planting seeds of discourse already between Dark Patriot and Eddie. They're planning here.
Yeah, I don't think there was any big plan. This is completely my opinion, and at this point, I'm still a fan. By the way, in the stands,
mm-hmm.
I don't think there was any plans for Doug, like as the Dark Patriot, to be anything more than what he was. But I think he was brought in to be Eddie's ally,
mm-hmm.
because I think the rating was pretty much getting on the wall at this point. You can start feeling it. Not as much seeing it yet, but you can start feeling it just by what we were talking about earlier with the earlier match with all them 4 other guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even remember the names. You don't remember the names with Palomo and all them guys?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see them guys anymore. Paul had a bigger idea, and it was much bigger than Todd's, I guess, budget. I don't know. Or Todd had the same idea. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Todd had the same idea.
I was going to say at this point, Paulie and Todd are probably talking more than Eddie and Todd are.
I mean, because history's already told us that Todd was a stooge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Todd was a stooge. Todd was always great to me. But I hear people say, "Oh, Todd was a stooge." All right, well, then there you go. He was probably in bed with more than one person,
Right.
The match does breed. Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say the match does breed the first attempt at a holy shit moment in ECW, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to cover real quick, just because I wrote it down. Jimmy Hoffa is the Dark Patriot. and they had a sign in the crowd, and then Paulie and Sully go back and forth about this goofy Jimmy Hoffa is the Dark Patriot thing, which actually the sign should have read the Dark Patriot is Jimmy Hoffa, but whatever. Have you
noticed that JT bump that we're getting ready to talk about, which was phenomenal? That was like a signature spot on the opening of the show for how long?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It was the first like ECW moment, really, in my opinion.
It was the worst footage, like quality wise, of any of the when they started doing the whole like 9 Inch Nails opening and all that shit, and like there was always the worst footage. It was that bump. But yeah, I was there. I saw it. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
So they fight to the back. They fight to the back of the arena to head up toward the Eagle's Nest. I did write down here. I thought this was fun that as they're heading up to the Eagle's Nest, Dark Patriot is nice enough to close the door behind them.
Yeah, right.
That was fun. But anyway, they're heading up to the Eagle's Nest. This is is this the first week they're referring to it as the Eagle's Nest? Or have they?
No, I think they referred to it before, but I think that was maybe I'm mistaken. This could be a Philadelphia thing, because there wasn't anything that I knew of. Like I knew what it was because you could see it from where you're at,
right?
But there was nobody up there. Like even that night, there was no Paulie and Joey Styles up there. They weren't up there. They were not up there doing the fucking commentary. They may have been during that match, but not during the rest of the show because it was all done on that stage behind that curtain.
Kind of like they used to do on Raw. You'd watch an episode of Raw and there'd be commentary, and then it'd pan over and there'd be nobody at the table. But as soon as somebody needed to do something over by the table, there was somebody at the table doing the commentary. That kind of a deal.
It was.
So Aaron, go ahead and take it away about the spot here.
I was just they fought up there, and I mean, JT took a hell of a bump, and you gotta give it to Doug too, man. Diving off that thing, that couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, I think I have no idea what they did to get JT to do it. I don't have any idea.
That's what I was gonna ask. Was how I was just gonna say, like, how much money do you think he got a bump and pay to do it, or?
Yeah, he did, but to me it's not even close. And Doug, I mean, depending on what time frame or what period Doug was in his life, it may have been a couple hundred, or it may have been something else. I don't know, but yeah, that to me was like, why are you doing this? Because at the end of the day, which one of you two are being brought back?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, neither one of them were.
All right. Anything else on that, guys?
I just thought it was a great Memphis-style match to teach JT.
And
that's what I wrote.
As clumsy, not the spot. I thought this was very cool, but as clumsy as, and we'll get to it at the end of the show, as kind of pointless and clumsy and goofy as the end of the show is, judging by the way this match was booked and by the way the end of this match or the end of the show was booked, this is definitely where you're starting to see that they're wanting to go to being extreme instead of Eastern, if that makes sense. That's kind of what we're heading toward here. Now we get my favorite promo of the night because it involves the term Lumpy Larry.
Yes, Lumpy Larry Winters.
Lumpy Larry Winters. We're talking to Tony Stetson and the Rockin' Rebel, and Rebel just keeps calling Larry Winters Lumpy Larry Winters, and I just kept laughing.
I wrote, oh God, I'm not even watching it. Yeah, I watched it. I mean, I didn't pay attention to it, but yeah, I mean, that to me was completely just independent. Like IWCCW independent. I couldn't believe that Gino Caruso didn't do a run-in. Or the Kodiak Bear.
I was going to say, or we didn't see what match was it they played like every week on the IWCCW?
Big Steamboat.
Big Steamboat and Tony Atlas.
Big Steamboat and Tony Atlas, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like that. This couldn't be any more generic, and that's what led me to believe that Gilbert was just running out of fucking. He's running out of canned shit, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, guys. Right?
Right.
Because that could mean now we got a whole new fucking thing of fresh stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This promo is leading to a match between it's the Rockin' Rebel and Tony Stetson against the Sandman and Larry Winters.
Lumpy Larry Winters.
Winters and back in his wetsuit Sandman. But like I said, this is obviously a match that was recorded before the Super Summer Sizzler Steak Spectacular thing. So Paulie
in the match.
I'll tell you what I think happened. I think that match was videotaped at the Cabrini College, and they were holding that over their heads. They said, "You know what? You never aired this match." And Paulie said, "Oh my God, you're right. We never honored our obligation." And and that's something Paul's always known for.
We need to use this match and the Koloff promo.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, seriously, that reeks of Mario Savoldi. A fake Koloff and then that promo. That's perfect. Like that's Savoldi going, "Hey, you're coming into Parsippany." Like we need to impose our will.
During commentary, Paulie calls Larry Winters a young, good-looking babyface.
Sarcastically, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm glad you wrote it down because after I wrote, I'm not even watching this. The next thing I wrote down was Eddie Gilbert, something or other. I must have skipped a little bit.
Also, in my notes, I put that Peaches and Larry Winters had the same haircut.
Of course.
And right as they're about to fire to the break, Winters and Stetson are fighting on the outside of the ring, and Winters totally falls on his ass. Like hardcore falls on his ass. He probably.
Yeah, why does Larry Winters always look so like awkward? Because you never want to. Yeah, of course, but you never want to say he's like awful. But like he'll do like a forearm smash and then collapse. It's like, why did you fall down on one knee after a forearm smash? You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. Or he'll throw a guy in for a backdrop, and before he goes for a backdrop, he'll like crumble to one knee, and the guy has to come off. And Larry only has one knee on the ground, going, "Oh my God, I got to take a backdrop from a one kneer."
He's a hot young baby face, though.
Maybe he's got asthma. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But let's be honest. This is going to be probably the last we're going to see of Mr. Larry Winters.
Oh, we can only hope.
Well, I think it is.
It's one of the only times I was watching a match and be like, you know what, this needed more Sandman. Like Larry Winters has been there way too long. Way too long.
Well, the only reason why Larry's been there is because Stetson's been there. Mm-hmm. And hasn't Stetson been the guy we've been high on the whole entire time?
Yeah, I'm just saying in this match, it was like Larry Winters was in the 90% of the match, and it was just this didn't do it for me. This is bad.
Yeah, of course. That was one of them matches where it's when I said I'm not watching none of this. Like it's just on there to kill time.
Mm-hmm. So then you got Paulie.
He's in the production truck
Seductively, I put Paulie seductively laying in a van.
No, he says, I'm Paulie Dangerously in the ECW production truck. It's a fucking Ford Windstar or whatever. It's like, what the fuck?
It's a Ford Astro van.
Yeah, Astro, that's it.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's like in an Astro Star or something.
Because he calls it the ECW production truck. It's correct. Yeah.
I remember my parents were gonna go buy a car like 88 or 89, and they were gonna buy one of them fucking minivan things, and all because it had the radio selection in the back seat thing, so we could have our own radio. And that was the exact same car that we were going to get. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And we didn't get it. And I'm like, dude, he's buying a Ford fucking Aerostar or whatever. Like a 1988 even.
But it just cracked me up, but they call it the ECW production truck.
Well, that obviously was a rib.
Yeah.
That's what they had to work with right there. But yeah, that was obviously a rib. But yeah, I died when I was like, what the fuck? This is Paulie laying in the truck like he's Jason.
Yeah. Seductively was the word I used on my note. Was
what the fuck?
Why is Paulie in a van trying to seduce me? What's going on here?
Yeah, when has Paulie ever been a sex symbol? Yeah, that was amazing. Like I don't even know what was going on there. Like they must have had a lot of time to fill. But after that, what did we have?
The the King of Philly Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert video.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I'm assuming this music that the WWE Network has is not the whatever music they used.
No, I think it was.
Okay.
I think that was the original music. I mean, I do remember hearing it and just thinking like how generic it was.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw it, I was like, "This is generic as all nonsense." But the only thing I couldn't help but that jumped out at me was the black family they showed.
I didn't even notice that. I don't think I was really paying attention to the video.
Well, they didn't really show a lot of fans. Like they showed a bunch of Eddie Gilbert pictures with him, like, you know, in all his glory, all this nonsense.
Right.
But they showed this one clip of this black family, like at ringside. They were all cheering for him. And I was just like, oh, okay. I don't know. What?
The King Eddie the King Gilbert is over with the African
in South Philly.
American demo.
Yeah. Like literally it stuck out. I mean, literally, I wouldn't even say it if it didn't stick out to me. But I was just like, why do they keep showing this black family? You know what I mean? Like, what is Eddie Gilbert doing, you know, for the community?
He's like the Spudnik Monroe of Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's definitely not Spudnik Monroe.
Serious question, though. Like, when he started doing the whole King thing, do you think he thought maybe he was going to be able to get Jerry in there?
Oh, I'm sure that was the plan all along. Yeah, I have no doubt. Because, I mean, if we're not mistaken, didn't Carluzzo even book Gilbert and Lawler at some point? Or
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Carluzzo would have had to have, just out of spite. I mean, not even knowing. I would have thought he would have had to out of spite.
And most definitely at this time, Lawler's deal with the WWF allowed him to pretty much do whatever he wanted to do outside of WWF.
Yeah, we're talking 93 where he was still working with Carluzzo a lot, because wasn't he in the NWA tournament at some point or whatever?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so he could have done whatever he wanted, and I'm sure that Gilbert would have much rather had Lawler come in than Funk, but Funk is easily your number two. Mm-hmm. I mean, if not your 1A, right?
Right.
He's your other guy.
That's just what I took from it. I thought they were I thought they were booking this with the idea of we're going to be able to get Lawler, and it just obviously never happened.
Oh, it's probably money, and it was probably dates,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, Mondays, where he's at on Mondays.
Right.
And then whatever. I mean, at the Coliseum, whatever, when Raw was being taped, where he's at. Either way, he's at Raw or he's at the Coliseum on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it ain't too hard to find Lawler if you're looking for him.
So the next match here after the Gilbert video is a complete and utter clusterfuck. It is the Suicide Blondes, which is, of course, as we've established, Jonathan Hotbody, Chris Candido, and Sir Richard Michaels against the Super Destroyers and our friend Sal Balomo. And
Aaron, you want to go first?
Yeah, Aaron, you should go first. This is bad.
This is really bad, and
It's really bad.
I would have thought the van they used was Sal's, but it had windows and didn't say free candy on it, so that was probably not his van. But once again in this match, Chris Candido is just the shining star of the whole thing. Like he's the diamond in the rough of this fucking train wreck of a match.
Yeah, the main thing was, as good as Chris is whatever time frame this was, he was not good enough to be an orchestrator.
Yeah. He wasn't good enough to carry 5 other guys.
No, that wasn't going to happen. Like, I mean, I saw a million times, a bazillion times, where he was calling spots, and he was putting himself, in a position to do shit when other guys just weren't there.
The one that I absolutely noticed was Candido tries to jump over one of the Super Ds.
Oh yeah, and
the Super D is by no means ducks low enough. So Candido just drops, gives him a pile driver.
Yeah,
it was like that's a natural right there. Like he did it flawlessly.
But no, I didn't see that. Wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Candido tries the guy does the Super D, whichever one it was, doesn't dug down enough, and Candido basically hops over him, and right when he tries to hop over him, he just straddles the guy's neck. So he's just like, "Fuck it, pile driver," and pile driver the guy, and is impressive as shit because it's a guy Candido size pile driving one of the Super Ds, and
yeah.
Well, it's not my fault the Super Ds aren't that fucking good.
Yeah. I'm just saying they're big motherfuckers, and Candido picked them up like he was a garbage bag.
Oh yeah, Candido is like Doug Furness, fucking goofy. yeah, he's like that. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of like that whole entire match was another one of the ones I'm not watching this. It was just too much going on, and I wrote it was an indie match.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they got like three heats on the baby faces.
Yeah, and I wrote that down. It's a sloppy match, and it was way too fucking long. It was so long for as bad as it was.
It also is it feels like the end of Hot Body too. I mean, Hot Body's just the guy getting his ass kicked the whole match.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hot Body's not going to be done until you see him against me, so that's coming up in a couple of months. But yeah, I didn't realize I was the end of Hot Body. But apparently it was.
Neither did he. Neither did he, Chad. Yeah. I'm
no, he didn't.
I mean, the match was so sloppy and everything. I don't even know what. Was there an actual finish? Like, did I?
No. Fucking Wild Man Sal hits Hunter Q Robbins, and Paulie's like, "Oh, you don't hit managers," and then he runs down there for absolutely no fucking reason and hits somebody with a phone. I can't even remember who he hits with a phone, and then it's just everybody comes out with trash cans and beats the shit out of everybody.
And that's
well, wasn't that? Didn't that become the opening of the show where Paulie hits Hunter Q with the phone? Wasn't that the spot?
Maybe.
No. Paulie actually comes down to defend Hunter Hugh Robinson in this one. It's fucking weird.
Well, either way, I'm sure. I mean, because September's coming, and that's when, like I said, I debut, and you're not going to see Hunter Q anymore. So it's coming up. So yeah, either way, they're setting up for that.
I mean, when it starts, like Paulie and his little group come out to like help
Hunter,
the Suicide Blondes, but then it turns out everybody's just kicking the shit out of everybody. It makes no sense.
And just clubbing each other with trash cans at random. Just whoever you can club with a trash can, just club them with a fucking trash can. That's the point there, I guess.
Well, that's ECW.
And like I said, as feeble as it was, this was obviously to me a show that is planting the seeds for what they want this company to be. And like I said,
which also leads me to believe that we're starting to see more and more Paul, less and less Eddie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This show, it's totally noticeable. Even though they're still doing the Eddie King gimmick because they went all in with it and had the funk match and everything. They have to pay it off. But this show was definitely very Paulie heavy, and you can see his hands and his fingerprints all over the show this week, more than any show we've seen so far, I think.
Yeah, and you'll start seeing that as weeks go on, because I think they have a month or two where they do it out of their quote unquote studio.
Yeah.
Like that's all it's all tape stuff.
They got Eddie going, and they have Eddie going around Philly and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's even older stuff. Like that stuff goes back like months and months and months before any of this stuff.
Yeah.
That we're going to see with Paul E taking over. But yeah, once they start doing it from the quote unquote studios, is when you're going to start seeing a change. Because I look at my tapes and I see, there's bad companies showing up. Like, what is Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond showing up? It can't be good, right? This is not going to be what they call a transaction.
So overall, to me, like I know last week, well, I guess I won't count the Super Summer Sizzler because that was kind of a special event. We'll go back to the last TV show. The last TV show, I actually gave it a 3. This one kind of backslid for me. I gave it a 2 out of 5 because there wasn't a lot. What was good, but what was bad was more
really bad.
Yeah, really bad. Yeah.
You ain't got to fucking candy coat it. It was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was what it was.
That's actually on my notes. I didn't really give the show a rating. I just said the show was kind of weird. Wasn't good, wasn't bad. It was just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't advance anything. They didn't end anything. It was just a fucking show.
I've never given any ECW show a 3 or better.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not going to give this show a 3 or better. I'm going to give it a 2 1/4 because I like what they were trying to do to let you know that they had stars, but I didn't think they did enough to advance any of the stars.
Right.
To make you give a shit about them. And the one guy they wanted you to give a shit about was buried in the middle of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that was JT Smith. At the end of the show, you should remember JT Smith. If you're going to build somebody,
Yeah.
Not all people.
Like, why not do like a deal where like he did that like amazing fucking bump, got thrown off of it. Why not be like, holy shit, JT had this happen to him, and let's do some follow up. Like now he's at the hospital, or like that. Type
Yeah,
of
really,
thing.
the only follow up they had to it was Paulie kept mentioning that's the most amazing, death defying thing I've ever seen. But like you said, to your point, Aaron, there's no follow up on anybody's medical condition or anything like that. So, yeah, absolutely. Missed opportunity.
We did find out in the credits, though, that Mr. Sully's formal wear was provided by The Wedding Touch in Fraser, Pennsylvania.
Which was
really?
probably also owned by Todd Gordon.
Well, I wonder if I go there to get my tuxedo for my wedding. If I mention Todd Gordon or JD Smith.
Jay Sully.
Just walk in.
Mention Jay Sully.
Sully, I forgot.
Chad,
Jay Sully, and they'll add another $7 to the bill.
I was going to say, Chad, just walk in and go, give me the Sully.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a yellow cummerbund and tie.
I look like Mr. Roper in a Love Boat. Yeah, here you go. Look at this. Wow. But yeah, overall, I mean, I see where they're going, but you guys can clearly tell they don't have a lot to work with.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot that you can go to in the can. I mean, hence the reason why they had the Koloffs promo.
Yeah.
They needed a minute and a quarter to kill. Whatever. The promo, the Koloffs, seriously. That they weren't coming back, and in the matches, the Muracos, they're going to start seeing less of them because Todd's dollar is not going to stretch that far,
Right. So I guess
you're going to start seeing less of them guys.
As I always do at the end of the show every week, we'll run down here from the WWE Network description of what we're going to be watching next week, and I find this interesting part of it. On this edition of Eastern Championship Wrestling, Jimmy Superfly Snuka puts the TV title on the line in a match against Tommy Cairo. Plus...
Again?
Yeah, again. Plus, Ivan and Vladimir Koloff in action. I bet this match is canned. I bet we're going to see... This match is going to look like it was from like 6 months prior. I can't wait. Because there's no way that they were in the ECW arena. There's no way.
It's going to be a Corbini College can match. The Triple C, Corbini College canned.
And also a look at how hot stuff Eddie Gilbert became King of Philadelphia. So I guess we're going to be watching the Eddie Gilbert Terry Funk match again. And Sir Richard Michaels takes on Sal Balomo. So
I can already tell you. That goes to tell you right now, they don't have anything. Nothing left in the can until the next arena show. I mean, if you guys want to argue me, feel free. Go ahead. I'm right there. What you just told me right there means they are out of stuff.
Polly's like, we have a Koloff promo. Do we have a Koloff match, sir?
And how much you want to bet it's against the Wolfman and
JT Thrasher or whatever,
or one of the Easy Riders? Fuck. Yeah, that just reeks of now. Paulie's taking over, and all you're gonna see is just best of shit, like for the next,
until he gets his grip on things. Yeah.
That's yeah. Oof.
I'm looking forward to that Ivan and Chicken Farmer match. I'm waiting for it, man.
I'm sure you are. All right, Aaron, any parting words?
Don't go out of your way to watch this recap. Or go out of your way to watch this. Don't go out of your way to watch this on the network.
You've listened to us, so you've seen enough of it. Yeah.
Well, there was a great clip of Eddie Gilbert beating up Hervé Ernesto during the chain match thing when he was like, "Come on, don't discredit the whole entire show."
And apparently, the Cosbys were there. All right. You said the African American family, so I kind of improvised.
Yeah, go back and watch that. They showed like some African American family just out of nowhere in the crowd, and I just like I don't care, but I was just like, what the fuck is this?
All right, Chad. Any parting words here?
No, but I mean, you can always follow me on the Twitter. I'm assuming I'm Chad Idol Demira.
And you're working hard on Chad's Video Vault too. I've noticed a lot of action going on there this week.
Well, yeah, I'm running a deal now where it's 10 for 10 or whatever I posted. 10 for 10, 12 for 12, whatever it is. It includes postage. Whatever it is. But all you got to do is you got to put in the what do they call that? The number thing where you got the promo code.
No, yes, promo code.
Yeah. Xmas Chaos. Like somebody's gonna message me and put Xmas Chaos, and I'm gonna look at them going, I don't even think I had that show. Like, wasn't that the show with Undertaker and Smoky Mountain? Like nobody has that show. So yeah, I never really thought about that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, but Chad's video vault on Facebook. I have an outstanding array of videotapes that I'm never going to put match listings to on.
Promo code. What the fuck is that?
It's Christmas Chaos.
And if you're a listener of the show but not a member of our Facebook group, please do join the.
We're up to 91 members.
Yes, please do join the Reliving the Extreme Facebook group. We're happy to have you. That being said, we're going to sign off here. Thank you both for joining me this week, and we will see you all next week with Ivan and Vladimir Koloff in tag team action. Lord, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Chatoata!